You're now listening to the Something Good Podcast Network. Please press any key to continue.
I need a hero. And it's just like, that fucking song hits. Like, that's a disco song out the ass, but goddamn, that's a fucking powerful song. Give me a hero to the morning light. And it's like, it's a build too. It's like a montage song, but it's not. And it's just like, there's a giant gingerbread man about to rip your fucking shit open. God damn. Gumdrop buttons, motherfucker.
No, we are not talking about some awesome indie horror film. We're talking about Shrek, goddammit.
Not the buttons. Not the gumdrop buttons. Dude, how fucking terrifying that is when you're a kid first watching that and you're just like a big fan of like fairy tale movies. You make gingerbread cookies with your grandma, and this guy John Lithgow is holding his legs, run as fast as you can. You can't catch me, I'm the gingerbread man, and throws his old legs at him. It's just like, what kind of fucking Guantanamo fucking George Bush era tactics is that, you fucking asshole?
With that, welcome to this week's episode of the Couch Potatoes.
Not the gumdrop buttons.
I'm Alex.
Morrison.
And again, we are recording at like 1 o'clock, 12:30 at night, and we, for some reason, have more energy than we do during the day.
Because I'm drinking coffee now.
Yeah, and I had an energy drink at like 9 o'clock, so...
Yeah, I've been up since 3 this morning.
Ooh, yay. Not 3 this afternoon.
This morning.
Before
the sun came up, because I'm a dumbass.
I know, why were you up that early?
Because I can't fuck up my sleep schedule too much. If not, I'll just go insane when I go to work at night.
It's true. No, I'm still fine with this job. It's just it sucks ass getting off at fucking 11 o'clock every Friday and Saturday night. Sucks ass, dude. Why can't I just be paid to exist?
Universal income. I hear you. Socialist scum.
No, the working man blues is what it is.
Working man blues. That's all it is. You just turned into that Oliver country singer guy. Just out of nowhere bitching about Arizona tea can prices.
Let me tell you about the Arizona.
Back in my day, it was 99 cents. If I find the son of a bitch who raised it, I'm getting him in the squared circle. I'm giving a 10 count.
The thing that I don't understand, well, not that I don't understand, I understand how it happened.
I can see someone getting killed over fucking Arizona tea, too. God damn it.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, I could see it 100% happening.
$1.25. Ah! It's like fucking just stomp someone's ass.
Shake.
When we saw that guy get busted in the mouth with a twisted tea, calling someone an N-word, that's going to be a distant memory compared to the Arizona tea riots.
Dude, I saw this one guy lose his fucking shit because there's this new trend right now. I've seen like 2 or 3 different guys doing it where they're like gas station clerks, but they like set up their phone and pull like small pranks on their customers when they're coming through.
That is a super bad idea.
It's the worst idea, and this dude about fucking found out because he had the glass up. It had to have been like New York or something because he still had the glass with the little speaker.
Yeah, like a little bodega. So,
yeah. Apparently, dude asked for a lighter, and he slipped him a pink Bic. He took one look at that, and he's just like, bro, you gotta be fucking shit. And just starts slamming his fist and just throwing everything off the fucking counter, dude. And I'm just like, what the fuck is this dude's problem? All over a pink lighter.
You gave me the gayest fucking Bic, bro.
I know. And then there's this other guy that also runs a gas station. He makes more consistent ones, and he'll actually show his face. But I don't know. Working enough retail, I know that there are certain customers you can have fun with.
No.
There's customers that, like, I'll hit them with, like, I'll see them like every single week, and they'll walk in, hey, can I have a yada yada? I'm just, no. Just stare around for a second. I'm fucking with you. And then you get it for them, chit chat. And it's like, but those customers, you've built a rapport with them. You can, do that sort of thing. This guy, I can tell these are not his regular customers. These are just random motherfuckers coming in that he's not seen. And he's doing shit like, there was one specifically that I remember seeing, and I'm just like, that guy is going to get his ass whooped. A dude walks up wearing like one of those Walmart print shirts that say like, I love rock and roll on it. And the dude goes, whoa, I love cock. And the guy looks down and he's like, what? He's like, your shirt, I love cock. He's like, no, I love rock. He's like, I'm sorry, man. Just the way, you had your hand on there. He looked down there, he just looks at his shirt again, he goes,
how'd you get a C?
Yeah, he kept pushing it, like pressing him on. He's like, why did you think it said that? And you can see on his face where he's just like, motherfucker.
I will say that's a solid prank. That's a good one.
But I'm also, yes, it is good. But at the same time, I'm sitting here going, dude's going to get decked one day doing that to the wrong person.
Yeah. All I have to say, I have dyslexia. I'm sorry.
Well, talking about getting outrageously angry over having your masculinity threatened, let's try some more Monster Hard Seltzers, why don't we? The ones we had before...
It fixes low T.
Yeah, the ones we had before were kind of like the big boy cans, so we were splitting that one. But two things for this episode. One, I am in the process of getting ready to move, and I've already gotten the kitchen for the most part packed up, so I am all out of glasses. And secondly, after our lovely listener sent us the first flavor of Monster, it just so happened to be the following day I was at Harris Teeter, and if you like bust open one of those crates or whatever, I think I talked about in the last episode. So I've got the others, but they're smaller.
Yeah.
So instead, we're going to do a twofer. We're going to just pick one and enjoy it for the rest of the episode. And it's also from a selfish part on my end because, damn it, I want a fucking drink tonight. It's been a shitty week. So we do have 3 flavors left. We've got the original flavor, we've got a berry flavor, and we've got a peach flavor. Chris, dealer's choice, which one would you like to go with?
Yeah, I'll take the green one.
You'll take the OG green?
I don't think it's OG green, but it is green.
Okay. I think I'm going to go berry. I think I'll do the berry one.
I hear you, other berry.
Yeah. All right, so obligatory crack of the can. All right.
I can't wait till technology gets that far in.
Cheers, good sir.
Gin.
Dink. And I'm not ripping off GMM.
I just said gin.
I almost said dink it and sink it, which is a GMM thing.
This just tastes like a monster.
Yeah, so I'm good on that taste. Now, would you like to try the berry one? I think he just like took half of that to the dome.
Yep. You can taste that one if you want to.
Yeah, let's
got a little zip to it.
Let's see what's happening here.
Don't worry, I got that herpes under control.
Oh, good God, no. Oh, fuck. Oh,
yeah, mean
fuck.
green's not for you, bro.
Oh, fuck. That's horrible.
That one's a little different, but like... nah, mean green, go kiss my fucking ass.
Okay, retraction. That is the worst one. I thought the white was bad.
Oh, the weird grapefruit lemon one.
Yeah, I'll take that all day long over that fucking green one. Sir, if you'd like to have the peach one, you may, because that's utterly disgusting.
I'll hold off for that one for another day.
Berry, though, that's not too bad.
Yeah, it tastes it just tastes like a berry seltzer.
Yeah,
like a raspberry seltzer.
Yeah, kind of ambiguous berry flavor, maybe a little bit of strawberry, a little bit of cherry.
Yeah,
some sort of raz.
It's just another thing to put alcohol in because people aren't buying beer and soda's got so much sugar in it, so no one gives a fuck.
Diet Coke, baby.
Still going somehow. I did like that little thing I saw about Coke Zero and the conspiracy of how to make it normalized. It was fantastic.
Well, if you want, pause for 2 seconds on it, and that'll be the first topic in our news segment. All right, fucking Coke Zero. What is going to kill us? There's something. What's happening with the Coke Zero?
So it was not. First, it starts with Diet Coke. The World Health Organization is investigating aspartame on a larger scale because it's been out for a very long time, and they're trying to see what the long-term effects of aspartame really are.
And actually, on that exact note, I find that so. Oh, I was gonna say interesting, but it's not interesting. But I would say more fascinating than anything because my folks and my family have always been kind of on the up and up when it comes to like health food and shit like that. My grandmother was an RN and my mother was a holistic health coach. They were worried about aspartame back in the early 2000s.
Yeah, because there was talk about what is considered a normal amount that isn't toxic, because too much of a thing, even good or bad, is still bad. But what they're looking at is health aspects in quantity for aspartame, and they've kind of narrowed it down in this last investigation because if it hits a certain level, it's going to be listed as a carcinogen. Cigarettes have carcinogens in them. Anything you put in your body that is labeled that has like a health warning on it is a carcinogen. Alcohol is technically a version of a carcinogen, even though it's a drug. Caffeine, yeah, the same thing, but it's not really carcinogen as it is a upper.
Okay,
but the carcinogen is like cancer causing or illness causing or some type of systemic effect of the body. So they've determined that the amount of aspartame someone has to ingest is like 2 cases worth of Diet Coke a day.
I'm halfway there.
Yeah, so like a Donald Trump amount of Diet Coke is dangerous to the body. But you're also, in hindsight, the amount of phosphorus that's in like even a Diet Coke is the same that's in a Coke. So you probably shouldn't drink that much phosphorus because your kidneys will destroy themselves. But like the investigation, when they talked about, they posted that they were going to debut their results soon. Yeah. And it got everybody up in a fucking frenzy because of the diet industry guys are just like, oh fuck, if they make this a carcinogen, we're fucked. And Diet Coke is like the #1 selling diet drink of all time. And so they announced that a few years ago, and they finally came out with their results that they'd done more sufficient testing. So for the last 2 or 3 years, Coca-Cola hasn't advertised Coca-Cola. They've advertised Coke Zero, the black label. See, back when Coke Zero first came out, it was black with red lettering. But now it's red with black lettering because it looks like a regular Coke bottle. Yeah. And the conspiracy is they're trying to lull us into just drinking regular Coke Zero instead of Coke. Limiting.
Sorry, that's a cryptic conspiracy intro.
And like it is just it's a microcosm of like all the other ones. Like I like Coke Zero if it's got whiskey in it, but other than that, it's okay. Like, if I know I don't want a bunch of sugar, I'll just drink a Coke Zero.
Well, do you like a Coke Zero better than a Diet Coke?
No, I'll drink a Diet Coke if I have to, just because, and guess what? They both have 0 calories, so there's not much difference between the two. Other one's got an additive, one just doesn't have nothing.
Yeah, well, so back years ago, I was doing just my, why is there Coke Zero and why is there Diet Coke? Because I always thought for a while Coke Zero meant zero everything, including 0 caffeine. Yeah. That's what I thought Coke Zero meant. When I found out Coke Zero had caffeine, I'm like, what the fuck is this compared to Diet Coke? It's the same shit. It's actually kind of genius, but a little dumb at the same time. What it is Diet Coke is its own flavor formula. It's its own thing. It's not original recipe Coke, take out the corn syrup, put in the aspartame. It's its own flavor. Coke Zero is Coca-Cola, take out the high fructose corn syrup, put in the aspartame. So that's why that actually has a more sweeter taste to it compared to a Diet Coke that some people say kind of has like that kind of crispy spark kind of taste to it.
Yeah, so like it is a weird little push.
Yeah.
I will say this, Mountain Dew Zero Sugar tastes like fucking Mountain Dew.
Really?
Yeah, to me it tastes like Mountain Dew because Mountain Dew when I was a kid was the best damn drink you could buy, and then they changed it somehow, and now it tastes like garbage.
I always thought Mountain Dew tasted bad though.
When I was a kid, Mountain Dew was a very tasty soda, and then for some reason, one year around 1999, 2000, it just started tasting funny, and I started drinking Sundrop and Mellow Yellow instead. And Mellow Yellow, unpopular opinion, is a superior lemonade soda.
I was gonna say that. I liked that, and honestly, man, rest in peace to Sierra Mist. I dug Sierra Mist. I don't give a shit about Squirt.
Well, not Squirt. It's something else. It's
Sparkle or Spark.
Starry.
Yeah, Starry. I don't give a fuck about no goddamn Starry. Give me Sierra Mist. I want my Sierra Mist and Taco Bell.
I never liked Sierra Mist. Never could stand it. It just tastes like a lame ass 7-Up. And 7-Up's lame. It's bad. 7-Up is bad. That's what
7-Up is lame and 7-Up is bad. Fuck you. I don't fucking like it. Get it out of my fucking face.
You find a 6-pack of that at fucking Goodwill for free. But no, it's hard to say. I haven't drank much soda much anymore. Yeah. But I have like one of the unique ones. I do, and it's usually just a diet or a sugar-free one. Except for Sundrop, I'm getting full flavored fucking Sundrop.
Fuck you. I want my sugar.
That's made by the Lord.
That's the Lord's elixir.
Sundrop is probably one of the best fucking drinks ever created. Thank you, North Carolina. Yeah, so like when it comes to that kind of stuff, it is a funny conspiracy. Probably a little deep dive for an episode one day, or just about how the food industry is trying to murder you, or pharmaceutical industries, or whatever.
Oh no, trust me, I feel we could do a complete, total Triple C episode on the fact that the food and drug is under the same administration.
Yeah, because you put it in your body. Yeah, that's how alcohol, tobacco, and firearms are in the same industry.
Yeah,
and explosives. I'm still pissed they're not called Fate. It's an ATF with explosives. Just a fucking lame. This is government bureaucracy lameness. This is why we should get rid of 80-year-olds. You telling me a cock solid 35-year-old senator's like this is called Fate now? Yeah, motherfucker, I'm voting twice for you.
But aren't we one of the few nations that lumps food and drug under the same administration? Like usually they are separated.
It depends. Like in Germany and Britain, the drug administration is only regulatory to the compounds within the drug. So they have to change the compounds. When it comes to their food, however, they just lessen. They don't change out. So like if you buy a Pepsi or a Coke in Europe, it's going to have real sugar and it'll be less sugar altogether. And like I've heard people talk about, hey, I got a Mountain Dew in Germany. It was fantastic because it had half the fucking sugar in it.
So my folks are doing it right.
Yeah. So like over there, people are just like, yeah, I'm not having a fucking panic attack because I drank a fucking regular bottle of Coke.
Yeah.
Because you didn't ingest 46 grams of sugar. it's like half that. It's like 23, 22, even 20 grams of sugar. And they have caps too. That's another thing. They have caps on how much bullshit you can put in stuff. Tic Tacs have a calorie now over there because they can't have calories over here because it's half a gram of sugar per Tic Tac. Yeah. And that's unmeasurable under the FDA. But if you eat a whole fucking thing of Tic Tacs, you just consume 64 grams of sugar.
Congratulations,
dumbass. You didn't minty fresh your ass. You fucking just ate sugar. Fucking psycho.
We could have an entire food conspiracy episode on Triple C.
And it all starts with that cocksucker grimace. Let me tell you something.
Well, on a slight pivot to still use food as a basis, Apple over the last week has finally released their new iPhones, the iPhone 15 line. So you have the 15, the 15 Plus, the 15 Pro, and the Pro Max. All fantastic looking phones for the nerds out there that are interested. Yes, I think they look fan-fucking-tastic. I'm definitely cannot wait to get my hands on one, but not yet. And it's the same reason why I do wait a couple months before I ever upgrade my phone. I am not a doorbuster. I'm not doing the Uber pre-sales to get it day one. I'm not that hardcore in any scene that I have to have something day one, unless it's a movie where someone's going to fucking spoil it for me, but that's not a product. For the first time, and I'm getting fucking flashbacks to the iPhone 12 days, for the first time since the iPhone 12, it has a structural integrity issue. If I were to grab my phone that's in my hand right now, and I could even hand it to you, Chris, and be like, Chris, try to bend my phone. You probably wouldn't be able to get much headway. You'd make some creaking noises, but you really probably couldn't get too far because of the skeleton that's on the inside of the phone.
A solid build.
Exactly. You know, folks can be fans or not fans of Apple all day long, but the construction of the device, whether it be easy to repair or not, the construction is solid.
Built for tough.
Damn right. Except for the new one. There is a YouTube channel called Jerry Rig Everything, and I love him to death, even though he hates Apple. But that's actually part of the reason why I like him, is he makes a lot of really good jokes at Apple's expense, and I'm an equal opportunist, and I giggle every fucking time. But the one thing he's always handed them, he goes, I'm never going to use their phones. I don't want to be part of their ecosystem, but I have to say these are the most well-constructed phones I've put my hand on. I'm never using it, though. He's in the middle of showing off the new sides and how cool it looks and everything, and he puts it through the bend test, and right as he was about to release tension, you hear... And you see, like, his hands, like, visibly jump. Like, he was genuinely not expecting.
Like, oh, shit, is this a new Samsung Flip?
Yeah! Turned it over. So, the actual chassis itself did not bend. But the amount of pressure he was applying with his thumb snapped the back glass.
That's pretty impressive.
Yeah. So, for the first time... their phones are in risk of being fucking broken just because it gets a little bent.
So some guy's got it in his back pocket and decides to sit down. He's fucked.
That's what I'm looking at. I put my phone in my back pocket a lot because it's so fucking big. By the time I sit down, it's like cutting into my fucking hip and shit. It's like it's not comfortable in my front pocket. So I'm kind of sitting at this looking, going, fuck. What am I to do?
Yeah. I got the Samsung Galaxy 23.
Yeah.
So comparative size difference, real quick. What's the size difference on this?
Yours is a decent bit taller.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'd say about maybe 3/4 of an inch taller.
Yeah, I don't have any.
No, and my current one, fucking brick. Solid. Absolutely.
The only thing I don't like
solid.
about this one is they do that same feature that a lot of phones did, is that side swipe shit. I don't like that.
Yeah.
And it's just like, that's not how I use my phone. But it's because I'm an old man. But
and also, I can hear the comments now. I can hear the voices. Well, Alex, you can avoid all that if you just put it in a case. If I was buying a phone that I was putting it in a case, I wouldn't be getting a fucking iPhone. I wouldn't be getting something that is machined and looks really fucking nice. I wouldn't be getting something with such a small profile just to add additional size to it. Like, you know, even just the smallest of like the rubberized bumper cases. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. It's the difference between like when you're going to reach and pick up a piece of paper. And we as humans can feel the difference between one piece of paper and two pieces of paper. Something so thin, yet when we pick it up, we can make that small assessment just by the squeeze and the weight.
it's a texture thing.
There's two. So even just that is noticeable. It feels like when I put a case on this thing, all of a sudden it gets like 6 inches wider. It's like it completely defeats the purpose of having such a slim profile.
Sounds like you have a texture issue, which is a form of autism.
Thanks for telling everyone on the fucking podcast that I'm autistic.
It's okay if you got a touch of the tism. I've made up a story about a guy at work that's got that shit. And
I'm the basis of that story.
I'm pretty sure I'm ruining his life.
But no, I definitely don't have a weird texture thing. It's just...
I can understand, like, if you're buying a product and you want it. The only problem is I worry about, like, no one's ever going to make a phone as strong as the goddamn Nokia 7300. So, and the only reason they had a case for it is so that the ground wouldn't break.
Yeah.
So, like, it's just... You're not going to build something that tough ever. No. Not with all the stuff you want it to do, especially with like the cameras that everybody's on, because like they've destroyed the digital camera industry except for Nikon. Like Nikon.
Oh yeah.
If they build another camera as good as a Nikon 23 or like 3200 or whatever, yeah, that might be the nail in the coffin, guys. I'm sorry, but you know the cameras on the iPhones are always fantastic. Samsung has really upped their game with theirs, and just
Netflix actually approved iPhones as one of their cinematic cameras now.
Fuck it, why not? Fuck it. It's just like they got to cross that picket line somehow.
God damn.
Let's get a bunch of uncontracted scabs with some iPhones and make some content.
Well, speaking of grabbing some iPhones and making content, one of the things you brought up was the Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis apology video.
God damn it! You know, like seriously, it's like Danny Masterson raped a woman and got sentenced to 30 fucking years. Maybe just shut the fuck up.
Just for a minute.
Just for a minute, shut the fuck up. And like, Ashton Kutcher is someone I really respect because he is part of a program that he made to help law enforcement agencies find child traffickers. He testified before Congress. Kelso testified before Congress in a coherent speech of why it matters to him and how he's put his ass on the line to do this. And I'm not saying this apology video or like what the letter him and his wife wrote about the plea for Danny Masterson's, sentencing or whatever. I understand that's your friend. I get it. You worked with this man. You worked with this family. He's done it twice because he had another show that Danny Masterson appeared on.
The Ranch.
Yeah, I get that. I understand that. But sometimes your friends are fucking animals, and you maybe need to take a step back and be like, damn, Jackie, maybe we shouldn't write a letter. You know what I'm saying?
I'd completely agree.
And this has kind of ruined his name a little bit when it came to that. But it's always the same apology video. I don't like watching these things, but they keep popping up, so I decided to watch the other one with Drew Barrymore. It's just like, stop picking the poor side of your house.
Did a ukulele show up?
Yeah, no, but she's a fucking scab. If you don't trust unions, that's fine. I don't give a shit, but don't be a fucking scab. And she decided to be like, well, I'm just going to keep going with my show and all this. I'm just like, you dumbass. You fucking dumbass. You're part of this fucking Screen Actors Guild.
We're trying to help you
and the people that work for you.
We're trying to get you more fucking money. What the fuck?
And like it's across the board. It really is, and it's always the same shit. Let me just take off my makeup and put myself beside some wood paneling.
Yeah,
find the cheapest fucking furniture I have and just get my assistant to set it up for me real quick with like my iPhone.
Yeah, there was a meme going around where it was like every celebrity needs a poor room, put in quotation marks for them to film their apology videos, and then the comment underneath that said, "Shit, if you ain't got one, you can rent out my place for $500, buddy."
Yeah, you come to my house and do all the apology videos you want.
You can pick any room; it'll look poor.
The only time like an apology video actually counts to me is just like some person coming on, my bad. I'm not really like, I know what I did. I'm not really sorry. They're telling me to say sorry, but like, it is what it is. And that's it. That's all you need to say.
Yeah,
it is what it is.
And see, honestly,
I regret what I said. No, you fucking don't.
Thank you. Yes, that was going to be my point. So on a serious note, I actually would love to see an apology video where they turn on the camera, they look square in the thing, and just go, "I fucked up."
That happens.
What do you want me? Yeah, I'm deeply sorry to anyone I did hurt, and I fucked up. I don't feel like I need to say anything else. I'm aware of my actions, and I apologize. I'm aware I fucked up, and that's why I'm letting everyone know that I am sorry, and I fucked up.
And quote unquote record that section for when we do future podcasts with me. I fucked up. I had him on the show. I don't know what I was thinking. I was just like, Jesus fucking Christ.
I just wanted anyone. I just wanted anyone to talk to.
I did not expect the gun being waved around at the time. And like when the chimp showed up, I did not see that coming. And he went full Mr. Muggs. Like
he said he wasn't a fan of Phil Spector, but
he kept talking about how he was justified. Stand your ground. It's just like he kept saying that shit.
I don't get it. I don't understand.
You know what would have made it better?
That's why it was the couch potatoes with Chris Morrison.
Yeah. You know what would have made it better if just Ashton Kutcher got in there? Let he who has not wrote a sympathy letter for a rapist cast the first stone. And just like you done, that'd been fucking perfect.
Oh god!
Or like if he was went full like Bill Burr about it. Oh, you fucking women jerking it to fucking Ted Bundy documentaries. Like you're mad because I said my buddy needs to not get 30 goddamn years for a rape.
But the Something Good Nowhere does agree that he needs 30 plus years.
Yeah, straight to the fucking jail, man. Fuck him.
Always remember, this is comedy.
And that kind of affected Scientology real bad because they hit a lot of it. And I'm pretty sure David Miscavige, the leader, is still on the run.
Yeah.
And his wife is still dead.
Well, isn't that part of the whole thing too? Is like, it's heavily rumored that like it could have been the only reason that Ashton was like trying to defend him as he was a secret Scientologist.
Fucking probably. It's a cult, so I don't give a shit.
Yeah. Seems like the only reason someone would want to publicly stand up and defend.
But I don't want it to undercut the good stuff that he's did either. So
no, it's a fine line.
It's a branding issue now.
It's that fine line between separating, the art from the artist.
Yeah.
And I'm
But you know who came out on top? You know who came out on top? Topher fucking Grace.
I know.
I hope they bring him back as Venom. I really fucking do. Just because of this. Fuck it. Fucking Sony, do it, you pieces of shit. Come back. And I want him to get yoked. Like, I want Topher Grace to get, like, fucking Tobey Maguire fucking ripped. And just beat the shit out of Tom Hardy. I just want to see that happen. And just be like, I'm Topher fucking Grace, motherfucker.
Well, talking about the whole separating the art from artist thing, I had that moment recently because something I don't think I've really mentioned on the show yet, so now I can, now that I've at least gotten a decent amount of it out to the folks that need it, and if it ever gets shut down at this point, I'm okay. I've been going through and remastering and cleaning up a whole bunch of old Danzig and Michael Graves era Misfits audio and video. And in the middle of me doing all that, I'm sitting here remastering some of demo tapes from 1999 for the famous Monster session, which does include Michael Graves, and it slowly hit me. I was like, fuck, this dude got canceled. And even more recently, because he stood on trial during the Proud Boys thing, that when they did the whole, run on fucking DC. And while thinking about it and kind of mulling over it and being like, God, why did he have to fucking do this? Just kind of almost being annoyed at the whole thing. It slowly started to dawn on me. Yes, Michael deserved to have his wrist slapped and fingers pointed at and be told he's a fucking idiot for, being such a loud Proud Boy supporter. Mm-hmm. But lest we forget that Glenn Danzig and Jerry Only are proud Jersey boys.
Okay, why not?
You're meaning to tell me that you think Michael Graves is the only one in the Misfits camp that feels this way?
Yeah, I think
but all of a sudden, Michael's under the fucking microscope because it was specifically Proud Boys.
I think people kind of forget what era these people come from. Mm-hmm. Don't ask Alice Cooper about anything.
Yeah. So, like, as much as I am not sitting here defending Michael Graves at all, I am sitting here going, take a little bit of a step back and calm down before you ruin the entire legacy. Getting too mad.
Bill Burr had a whole bit about this in one of his specials. I think it was like Paper Tiger, when he's talking about the Duck Dynasty guys. And he's like the oldest one that had said some shit. Of course he said some shit.
Oh, I remember when that came out.
He's older than the dirt he's buried in. Like, he's going to say some wild shit because that's all he fucking knows. I'm not saying it's an excuse, but it is an understanding. It's just like all he knows is that his generation wiped out the Native Americans. Maybe he doesn't like fucking Native Americans. You know what I'm saying?
Doesn't make it right, but at the same time, you kind of have to look at it maybe from a certain lens.
Yeah,
you can still vilify it, but at the same time, vilify it through the correct lens.
Yeah. I mean, everybody back then, me and Dante had talked about it on one podcast together, and it's like David Spade. David Spade's jokes were, oh, that's gay. It is like that's what that whole humor was when I was like a child. Oh man, that's pretty fucking gay, bro. And it's just like, it's not a derogatory phrase toward gays. It's just that seems pussy. It's pretty lame. Mm-hmm. But now that's kind of taboo now, so like you have to use something else. It's like back in the day, moron meant someone who was retarded, and you can't use retarded now. You got to say intellectually challenged. Well, eventually that's going to be a fucking slur too. So,
but yeah, so I've gone through, and basically what I've settled with at this point, because it actually wound up being a topic inside of the Facebook group, which, side note, I never plugged that. If you guys are listening to this and you are Misfits fans and you want to see some really cool video upscaling of some classic concerts, if you want to hear some garage type remastering on like some old demos, like re-EQing it to bring out some bass and, you know, kind of polish it up some, speed corrected if it's playing a little faster, a little slow. If you guys are interested in hearing any of that, look up on Facebook The Fiend Media Club, and I'll throw a link in the episode description. I'm not doing a lot of promotion on it because, let's just say, certain teams and certain camps, because there are many camps in the Misfits realm, there's a few camps that are quite litigious. So a lot of it can't show up on YouTube, and a lot of it I don't want to publicly say what they are. Yeah. But if you want to join the secret group, look up the Fiend Media Club and download that stuff and share it around, because, you know, the Kiss community's getting a whole bunch of cleaned up bootlegs. It's time for the punk community to get some too, and doing all this shit for free, doing it for the love of it. So you guys better fucking enjoy it. Everything I do is for fucking free, whether it be the band or podcast or anything else.
Don't worry, Betty Crocker. She's
right around the corner, man. Right around the corner.
Yeah, that strawberry bundt cake gonna make itself.
But one last little piece of news that I also thought was pretty interesting, talking about major companies shooting themselves in the fucking foot. Unity.
Yeah.
Unity has now decided that, okay, now for folks that do not know, Unity is not a game publisher. Unity is not like a Microsoft or even an Activision or anything like that. Unity is an engine. It's what people use to create their video games. So we release this podcast through Apple Music and Spotify, but is recorded using a Zoom and edited using a Mac. Let's use that as our baseline comparison. Unity is now saying that if you cross over a certain threshold of revenue, they can back charge you, or not back charge as in like for years, but like once you reach a certain threshold, they will charge you a fee per download.
Yeah, retroactive fee. And
that percentage can fluctuate depending on how much you've sold.
Yeah.
That is fucking ridiculous. It's basically saying, hey, you used my service to get really popular, you owe us more money. What? That's like if Joe Rogan got fucking popular and Zoom was like, hey, you owe us some money because you use our products to record and release your podcast, and we saw you sign that $2 million deal with Spotify. I think we need a 3% cut of that. Fuck you. You just supplied the tools. Is fucking Home Depot coming up your ass being like, hey, you know, we did supply you with the wood and the tools needed to help build this house. You want to invite us in for lunch? It's like, that's not the way this works.
Tell them no, all of a sudden you hear the Home Depot theme music and they're just hear a banging noise. And they've built a fucking guillotine in your front yard. You fucking dumbass. No, it's just... This is the problem with, you know, the legislator in this country. It's because they're so fucking old. They can't keep up with the modernization of technology.
Now, what is a proxy?
A proxy is... well, you see, old man, you had this guy pick your tobacco. Well, he hired someone to do it for him. That's called a proxy. You dumbass.
Well, I was talking about it like in the internet world.
Yeah, but like I'm trying to explain it to an 80-year-old.
Well, yeah. That's
so like, but for them, they're not going to be on the go when it comes to, you know, what is morally right, ethically discerning in technology, because it's a fugazi to them. It's not real. So it's really bad because of shit like this. We almost had a net neutrality resolution to where Spectrum could charge you for using Netflix.
Yep.
So
I remember that.
That almost happened because there weren't enough younger people in Congress to be like, this is fucking stupid. This is a money grab. Please shut this shit down, because that's what the FCC is for. You know, they've done a lot of stupid shit, but it's also
freaking FCC.
Yeah, but it's also, you know, a consumer protection agency. So like this needs to be something they need to step in right now before it becomes a goddamn problem. Because the latest news lately is Microsoft is buying up a lot of fucking property in the video game world.
Activision Blizzard, like literally as we were getting ready to set up the recording on here, it was posted like an hour prior that the UK approved the buyout.
Yeah, and here's the problem with that. As much as we talk about Disney and Sony and Warner Brothers, as soon as Microsoft acquires one more big one, let's say Bungie, whatever's left of Bungie, or, you know, they got Pandemic, they got Bethesda, now they have Blizzard. If Bill Gates decides, hey, Microsoft with Blizzard is now in the movie making business, you know how much content they get from the Blizzard industry? Ooh. You know how fucking ass backwards it's going to be in the theaters when people are like, I want to see an Overwatch movie. Because all their trailers were movies. And people were like, well, now I got to watch it. And it's just like, Marvel and DC are going to be shit to the Overwatch community because it's brand spanking new and there isn't 20 to 60 years of fucking content they got to know to watch it.
Yep.
It's just, hey, it's like Mortal Kombat for children. So like, that's what that's going to be. And
yeah.
This is really going to fuck with some media companies to be what it means to make content, as opposed to making like a movie and a series. You know, I wouldn't be surprised if Microsoft and Apple somehow jerry-rigged it to where they could buy more like developing and then just start making their own production company under a third name.
Well, see, I have said for years, and everyone kind of looks at me like I'm crazy for saying it. I had to have said it on this show before.
Because you're a spherist and think the globe is circular.
Damn right I do. I don't believe what that mass media tell me. Mm-hmm. I still feel that at some point in time, I don't know if it's going to be an acquisition. I don't know if it's going to be a partial buyout or just a collaboration. I still feel like Apple and Nintendo are going to pair up in some way.
I can see a collaboration.
And the reason I feel that way is if you look at Nintendo and you look at Apple, they share a lot of similarities when it comes to running their companies. Mm-hmm. Proprietary software, exclusives. You absolutely cannot do Mario on any other system. You absolutely cannot use iOS on any other system. Nintendo is hardcore on sticking with the fucking game cartridges and not discs. Apple is hardcore on sticking with those fucking lightning cables until the EU recently made them have to change. If they had not been forced to change, the next iPhones would have lightning cable and not USB-C. I feel like they share so many thoughts and beliefs that the concept of you can now play Nintendo games on your Apple TV doesn't seem too far off.
I think we'll probably see that after like the Switch 2 or whatever console they're going to come out next. Depending on what's going on with that, that'll be a deciding factor on something like that.
And I feel that way again, especially because by the time this episode drops, it will officially be my birthday on the 26th. And as an early birthday present, my stepfather Eric sent me a new Apple TV, and I've never had an interest in having an Apple TV, so I've never looked into it much. So I listened to a few YouTube videos on it, and I quickly realized it's basically a fucking Mac connected to my TV.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why people are really hyping up this new version is the processing power is right up there next to like an Xbox One or a PS5 in processing power to stream Netflix.
Yeah.
And now they've debuted Apple Arcade, and you can pair any Bluetooth controller to the Apple TV and play these arcade games. All of a sudden, there's a fucking exclusive Mario Kart.
Yeah.
You know, there's an exclusive type game for Apple that's from Nintendo. I feel like the walled gardens are too similar for them to not be interested.
No, I can see that happening because the collaboration between them and anyone else would be really hard because if they give it to Apple, then they still can't give it to Microsoft or Google or anything else because Apple doesn't want to play with them either. So they don't have to worry about it getting spread out. The kind of expansion on this is if it was Apple, Nintendo, and Sony. Sony Productions, not Sony Gaming, but like if Sony Pictures decided to make an artificial deal with Apple for their content instead of, because Sony is in two different kind of camps. They have their products, the PlayStation and whatnot, but they also have separate media company as opposed to Disney, and then Disney the theme park. You know how like they can operate separately. Yeah. Sony has that with movies, but also with technology. So, and they've never made any type of deal with themselves when it comes to, if you buy a PlayStation, you can watch every Sony movie ever made. They've never done that. So I could see a production company being like, hey, what if we wanted to make some extra money and tie with Nintendo and Apple merger to put Sony films exclusively on Apple products. Yeah. And that's a big collection, the Sony film productions. So I don't know, I'm waiting for Warner Brothers to be bought by Disney and just like put the nail in the coffin of those two fucking idiots.
If they were to do that, would it make you smile?
Yeah. Because now we know who was on the battlefield, Google and Disney. Now I know which side I'm drawing a line in the sand for.
Google or Disney.
Yeah, that's what it's going to come down to. Like, and Amazon's just going to be there. Here's your house. Here's your Amazon house with your Amazon groceries and your Amazon job. Where's your smock? Where's your goddamn smock, you pussy?
And then Tim Cook comes around the corner. This is a great opportunity
Kill
for
him
innovation.
Feed him to the mover, and it's just a fucking Amazon moving bot, and it just boxes them. Feed him. I would love a Children of the Corn set in an Apple or Amazon fulfillment center. Outlander, and it just holds up a fucking like dildo, just like, we have your woman.
he's stuck in an Amazon box. If Apple were to do this box, it would be a lot less cost effective.
Shut the fuck up! Shut the fuck up! It just
kicks the box.
A can of Bear Mace just explodes. Which, fun fact, that happens a lot actually at Amazon fulfillment centers. Bear Mace explosions are up. Like. That is not like South Park made fun of it. All right,
Mad Money.
Yeah, but South Park made fun of it, and then I looked into it. It's just like they keep getting bigger because they don't put them in safe packaging and they explode. God. Can you imagine? You're on the fucking forklift and you're just trying to put a goddamn a fucking Sony Walkman retro in a fucking package, and you're just like, and all of a sudden you hear womp 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 womp. What the fuck? It just Bear Mace is like with 25 feet radius of you, and you're just like, I can't fucking see. And they're docking your pay because you got to go to the bathroom and wash that shit out.
On the new season of Beavis and Butthead, one of the episodes was an old Beavis, old Butthead, and they ran out of beer money. And the plasma center won't allow them to do any more donations, so they have to figure out how to get a job because their unemployment ran out. And they got a job at an Amazon fulfillment center, and the ladies walking them through, they're like, it's super easy. These robots here are gonna wheel up your items. And here comes one right now, and it's like this automated, like it kind of looks like those serving trays, racks, where it's like a bunch of them. It's about 4 of those, and it wheels up with these random items. And like, okay, so look for the item on the screen, grab it from the shelf, put it in the box, and push it down the way. Whoa, so this thing just like brings you whatever you want? She's like, yep, just put them in the boxes, send it on down. And it turns into, they just wind up telling all the Cheese Whiz to come over there, so all the robots are like conglomerating, they're just eating up Cheese Whiz. Yeah. Eventually a whole fucking fire breaks out, the news is there, and they're just walking out and they're like, working kicks ass. There was fire, free cheese, we'll come back tomorrow.
I'm just waiting for the whole thing.
I need that job.
I'm just waiting for the whole conglomerate just to come together and just kind of make it simple for everybody.
Yeah, that'll make it simple for everyone, Chris.
For those who are strong enough.
Well, let's go ahead and move on over to our main topics. I hinted at it earlier. I asked, would that make you smile if they were to do that? That's right, ladies and gentlemen. It's not even October, and we're heading neck deep into the horror shit with one of the coolest movies I've seen this year, Smile.
It works like a voodoo movie.
It does,
because you have to believe in it to make it work.
this did not go the way I thought it was going to go.
No, it really takes a turn very quickly. I didn't see the ending happening the way it did, but I'm glad it happened that way. I'm usually disappointed when it comes out like that because it can be very melancholy, kind of sad.
Yeah.
But this one was just a good visceral ending.
One of the things I liked about what I thought early on was going to happen was that there was like the whole time there were going to be so many projections of like, oh, it's evil spirits, it's all this stuff, it's going to have the audience hooked. I was expecting some fucking M. Night Shyamalan thing where like the last 5 minutes, almost the Joker almost, where like the last 5 minutes you were going to be re-shown all the same scenes from a different perspective, and the girl's just fucking psychotic. She's seeing all this shit, she's believing that there is some evil spirit, but in reality she's just fucking nuts. It felt like they were telegraphing that with her working at a psych ward, with that one guy that kept like turning around to her and like saying shit, and then she had the fantasy of like stabbing him and he wasn't like reacting, all this shit. And I'm just like, oh my gosh, she's fucking psycho, and this is like her descent into madness and like trying to convince everyone that she's not crazy, but like everyone sees that she is. No, it was legit demons. It was demons.
It kind of reminds me of like The Ritual on Netflix. I don't know if you ever saw that one, but like it's about kind of a similar thing where it's just like there's something haunting these guys who are on a hike through a forest, who take a shortcut through a forest in Sweden, and something is happening to them again with the Blair Witch. And at some point you're thinking, okay, it could be like a spirit, or it could be like a cult, because as it continues on, you start seeing like remnants of old victims. Okay, could be a cult out there, could be just something else, but it turns out to be like some eldritch god who just lives in the forest that's worshipped by a giant cult. And it's just like, that took a turn about a team building exercise for some buddies. Like that was fascinating. And the creature in that movie reminds me of a lot of the creature in Smile that we see, and it's very horrific. What I like about the new horror movies lately, with Smile, because it's a lot similar to a movie called It Follows, which came out years ago, was the inescapable dread of intrusive thoughts. Because that's what it is. It's an intrusive thought that you can't burrow out of your fucking brain because it's too deep. It Follows is kind of similar, but it's a curse. But in this one, a curse is the same thing, but it's a mental curse that you just can't get the fuck rid of. Because it kicks off the movie. Our main protagonist, as I mentioned earlier, she works in a psych ward. She's a therapist, and she was dealing with one of her clients, and her client just started freaking the fuck out, screaming, there she is, she's gonna kill me. And you see her like thrashing on the ground, laying there. She runs over to the red phone. Yo, I need help. By the time she turns back around, old girl's standing up, straight up, big ass grin on her face, and cuts herself from fucking ear to ear underneath her neck. And that's the way it fucking kicks off. And I thought I'd recognize the woman, and it's because she looks like her mom, Kara Sedgwick. That's Kevin Bacon's daughter.
Oh shit.
Yeah, Sosie Bacon.
Okay, gotcha.
But I'm just like, okay, her first big movie is going to be a horror movie, just like Kevin Bacon's was Friday the 13th.
Hell yeah.
This is fucking awesome. Way to go, the Baconator. It's still going. But like it does, that opener is solid. Like I will say that, like, you don't get a lot of horror movies nowadays that are new that just have a solid opener. And I loved that.
Yeah.
I recently watched Friday the 13th earlier today, and I was just like, man, that fucking opener was awesome. Just the two fucking counselors just getting it, and I'm just like, yeah, that's the way you do it.
And yeah, so after she murders herself in the therapy room, that basically transfers the demon to the new person. We're going to kind of jump around on this. I'm not going to give a play-by-play because it's a horror film.
Yeah.
There's a lot of jumping around. I will say probably the only plot point that made me just kind of go, God damn it, is after she reconnected with her cop ex-boyfriend, she runs over to his house and she's like, hey, I need a favor. Can you please look up this guy on your computer? And he's like, why? She goes, I just need to see something. They sees the, death in the area. Okay, is there any other news reports or reports with him? Yeah, he witnessed suicide earlier. What was the person's name? It was so-and-so. Look up that person. They get to the second one, and now he sees a pattern. He sees a pattern on the second person. It seems like he kind of gets the idea of like, oh, snap, something's going on here, which is why he's a little bit more eager to help her. Then, about 15 minutes later in the movie, he calls her. You didn't tell me it was a pattern. Bro, did you really assume it stopped there? That was that one moment where I'm just like, no, you already saw that there was a pattern. You just had to call to give us additional dialogue to tell us that it goes back 15 parts.
Like it's the ineptness of the police in a horror movie. the Dewey of cops.
Yeah,
from Gainesville, Florida. Like it's the Scream cops, man. Like, yeah, that's how just how it is.
But Dewey actually knew what the fuck he was doing.
Yeah, by the second part of the movie, then he got murdered. Then he got marked. He's like, wait, I think I figured it out. Stab. But going into this movie, it reminded me a little bit of *Malignant*.
Yep.
Because of some of the practical effects, for one. The most horrific jump cuts. One of my favorites is, I believe it's her sister she's talking to, and she is having a panic attack breakdown just in her car.
So, to lead up to that one, because that's your favorite shocking moment, I want to lead it into my shocking moment, which happened right before that. Homegirls already saw the murder. She's having weird shit happening. Her boyfriend's even acting all weird, like, yo, what the fuck's going on? She's like, don't worry about it. My sister's having a birthday party for her daughter. I can't make it because I gotta work. Shit goes down at work. You're laid off for about a week. All right, fine. She decides, goes to the train shop, picks up a train for the kid, wraps it up, heads over there. Kid's unwrapping the present. It winds up being the dead cat they were searching for earlier in the film.
Yep.
And just the way he held it up.
Yeah.
And like, just that, because I think even what kind of made it more visceral for me is me and my girl were watching it, and the look on his face when he opened it, she just kind of quietly said, he already had that one. And I was just like, oh, this is about to get, freaker, sadly. I wonder how this is going to roll down. And then he pulls that dead cat out. And I was just like, oh, fuck. So she shows back up the next day to apologize to her sister.
Yeah, well, like her sister, most people can recognize someone who is in distress, especially someone who is having a visceral panic attack.
Especially if it's your sister?
Yeah, when it's your relative there, and like there's zero fucking sympathy very quickly, and they never applied any backstory to that to make it seem why her sister would be mad at her. Like, there's no way I'm going to automatically assume my sister would put a dead cat in a box for my child, and me not second guess myself, being like, oh my God, is she suffering from schizophrenia?
Yeah.
Let me assess the situation, and not overreact and freak her the fuck out while she's having a panic attack.
Yeah, that might not be the best idea.
Yeah, so there's no tact on that kind of sense, and it doesn't make any. That kind of doesn't make any sense. But it kind of plays into the psychosis the girl's having.
Yeah.
Because it is a burdenous thing, and I think that kind of makes it more scary. Is like, if you are experiencing this curse in a weird way, people will shun you, and there's no help, and then you're gonna have to face this on your own, and there's a hardcore 99% chance you will lose. So I think that really adds to the scary part of it. But she's going back to her car, and she's like kind of like tantric breathing a little bit, trying to get her fucking bearings, and her sister walks up, and the way they shoot it is very well done. Ari Aster, A24, all that production, same fucking way. That's what
because it's framed as if you're on the passenger side of the door, but on the outside.
Yeah. What's really good about this is we've seen shots like this in like Us, Nope, Get Out, Hereditary, Midsommar, all the new stuff, Ty West stuff, A Quiet Place. These visceral shots that you were like, I've never thought of shooting a movie like this, and it's because they're using these newer guys that are doing the same innovative tricks like Wes Craven and John Carpenter did with like music and motion, and it really throws you off and makes you uncomfortable because it looks like an independent film that we've seen on YouTube that are scary as fuck. And she walks up and knocks on the window, and her whole head is dislocated from the body but still attached, and just starts hanging and swinging.
Kind of with even like an elongated neck.
Yeah,
almost.
like somebody stretched her neck, took the bones out, and let it fall.
Yeah.
And it just sends her into a death spiral. Like, it freaks her the fuck out because this is what the curse is supposed to do.
And that freaked me the fuck out too. And I felt like an idiot for it freaking me out because it's in the trailer.
Yeah.
It's one of the trailer shots. So it's like I completely forgot about it. As soon as the head went yoink, I jumped and then went, God damn it, I knew that part was coming.
But like, did you, like, because we've watched movies lately with trailers that show shots that aren't real.
That is true.
So we're being
That is
tricked
true.
the whole point. You know, I'm still waiting for Jen Erso to drop kick a TIE fighter. But like, that never happened in fucking Rogue One, did it? No. She died a fucking hero of the beaches of fucking Saturn.
The beaches of Normandy.
Yeah, he died taking black fire from the goddamn Imperial scum. And it's just like, yeah, Grandpa, just go back to the home. I was there. Chewie was there.
Another really good scene for me was so when her ex-cop boyfriend calls her back and he's just like, so there's a pattern, and she's like, well, yes, asshole, that's what I was trying to tell you earlier. He goes, well, yeah, everyone died except for one. And he just so happens to be in town. Why don't you go look him up?
It's a small world after all.
And the build-up of she goes to the place where homeboy's locked up in jail, and she's like, hey, I want to ask you about the curse and this, that, and the other. He goes, I don't talk to reporters. She's like, no, I'm my friend, it's, I was curious on it, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, starts to kind of open up and talk about it. And then she slips up and she goes, I just want to know if I'm going to die.
Yeah.
And the look on his face, he's like,
oh, you got it.
It's you. Yeah. It's you. And the way he just starts screaming, he's like, get away from me, get away. Those are those moments that I'm looking for in those horror films. Like, that guy read the script and went, I bet.
Yeah.
And just let himself loose.
It reminds me a lot of the Robert Englund scene from Stranger Things.
Yes.
When Nancy and them come down, and it's just like, oh, you dumb bitch, get the fuck out of here. You're going straight to hell, bitch.
Yep.
Like, don't come at me. I saw hell. I don't like it. I'm getting the fuck out of there.
I would have liked an extra little pin on his story, though.
I think we could get that in a sequel, maybe. Maybe like a build-up. Kind of like in The Evil Dead, the Rise. There was that whole album being played with a priest talking about, there are books that can be opened. And like, you hear the jeer, and I'm like, the next Evil Dead movie needs to be that priest. That's what that needs to be.
So I find it so funny that you bring up that exact scene. So in Evil Dead Rise, when that scene happened, the music nerd in me is aching and cringing watching that entire scene, because I'm just like, none of this is possible. And then the one that just, the icing on the cake is when the needle fucking sparked. I'm like, there's no electricity going to the needle, stop it.
With the power of the devil, there is, Alex.
So fast forward to this movie, she's listening back to the recording of the girl that committed suicide in her office. And she kept playing back this one small segment. And I'm looking at the waveforms. And I'm going, don't. Just fucking don't. And it was especially poignant because I've been doing these Misfits remasters. So I've been staring at fucking waveforms, pulling up different EQs to make shit sound good. Which it seemed like was exactly what she was about to do. And I'm like, this end product better not sound like a fucking CD, or I'm gonna be pissed. But right as it felt like they were about to do some fucked up shit, all of a sudden it went away. And I was like, okay, good. Because I swear to God, if she was about to fucking do a zoom and enhance on that fucking waveform and find this long ass sentence, I was about to just turn it the fuck off. I'm like, you can't.
Just take you out of it.
It would have. So many few things take me out of a movie. That scene, if she had fucking pulled a zoom and enhance on that audio file, I would have just immediately thrown my hands up and be like, nope, never mind. Click.
Nah, what I really loved about this one was there's a preamble to her life with her mother who died of mental illness.
I thought that was going to play a much larger role in the movie than it did.
Dude, they left it in as a MacGuffin, as just one little a red herring, like communism.
Another reason I thought it was all in her mind, that she was going through her own personal psychosis because of what she experienced with her mother, or it was something that was passed on from her mother to her.
It's that Tim Curry moment in Clue. Communism is just a red herring. It's like, oh, her genetic her genetic lineage of mental illness is a red herring. That's not real.
I didn't dislike that portion of the movie, but do you feel like her subplot with the mother was even necessary?
Yes, for the final act, because
aside from the final act, let me rephrase it. Do you feel like that subplot was created to have a crazy final act?
No, because on a second watch through, it kind of foreshadows what's going to happen.
Okay.
Her mother is in such a self-destructive mode at that point where she's like, my mental illness has destroyed me to the point where I can't function to even take care of my family, my children.
Right.
It's better for me to leave this place than to stay. And the fact that her daughter walked in on her, like, basic suicide, like, in the
Pilled out.
but like in the motion of it is... This is what I leave my children, not my mental illness, but me failing at my mental illness and me being destroyed by it. And she is being destroyed by her curse / mental illness. So in all intents and purposes, it foreshadows the whole ending of on that second playthrough. You know, when I watched it the second time, like right after, I'm just like, let me just see what's going on. Maybe I might miss something. And then I realized very quickly, I'm like, okay, no, this whole movie is about the curse of mental illness, whether it's genetic, whether or not it's, hereditary or not, or is it a nature versus nurture kind of thing. And no matter what she did, she wasn't going to escape it, and it was going to be her ending, because not only is she genetically contaminated by mental illness, she's put herself in a place where she's surrounded by it as a job. So she's basically become the perfect victim for the curse itself. So this is where it needs to end. But happenstance happens with Dewey the cop, and he just shows the fuck up, and the curse is like, keep going, baby. And I'm like, perfect.
So what about the older dude that kept that the first scene he had with her was the "you're gonna die, you're gonna die, you're gonna die," and then later on she had that mental thing of like stabbing him and he didn't respond. How do you think he played into it all?
I think he played into it as just like,
because it really felt like he was gonna be something too.
That was that's the kind of the plug of the main character's problem. I could just give it to him and it would end, because they'll just put him in a padded room and he'll die. That's it. That's exactly what would happen to him. The curse would stop, and it's an easy out. And we never see a movie end well when there's an easy out. And she wouldn't have done it. She's too pure of heart, basically, at that point. But by the time the movie ends, she probably wished she should have stabbed that motherfucker to death. Like she hasn't taken it seriously enough, or isn't obeying the hallucinations enough. Because I will say this, if you watch it on that second playthrough, it gives her an out like 4 or 5 times. It gives her an out. You can give this to somebody else. Go ahead, do it. Just do it. Just give this to someone else. But
this is the part maybe I misunderstood. And maybe this was a part where I was kind of like maybe drifting in and out. But was that the reason the one guy was able to shake the curse? He was able to give it to someone else? Because I thought the only way to pass it on was by your own death.
Well, no, you can kill someone in front of someone else. That was the other.
Oh, you're right. I forgot about that.
There was another person in the room with her and the old man. And like, if she's like, if I could just give this to someone else, if they could see the PTSD, which I saw on the same level, then they'll have it. and I will be free of it. You know, it's kind of like basically transferring your trauma to someone else in another horrific manner. And it gives her the out. Yeah. It's like, you can do it. It's okay.
But did it really give her the out? Because it felt like she was wanting to go through with it at the hospital.
Yeah, but she stopped.
But then it clicked to find out that she's still in the car the whole time.
Yeah. I think that click is just her disassociating and just deciding not to do anything, walking back to her car, and then coming back.
So you don't think that was a hallucination from her? Because we get a whole bunch of like very visceral hallucinations.
Yeah, I think
to where when she snaps out of it, she's like, "Oh, what the fuck?"
I think she's just disassociating. So every time we hear the click, it's just her coming to. I think that's all that was. It's just like a mechanism to show that she is fully disassociating from the situation and blacking out, and it's the thing, the creature, or curse, or whatever you want to call it, giving her an out. Because all it wants to do is just go to the next person. That's all it wants to do. No different from the movie Sinister, where it's just like, I need this kid to kill the whole family so we can go to the next house or go to the next family. I need this. I need a feeding process. And it could be decades old and it could be days old. But this one is just like, I want to give you the option. There is no time limit. This isn't like The Ring. You know, that I'm going to give you some outs until you break. And depending on the person, how they break, you know, it could be months, could be weeks, could be a fucking day. Like, the girl she meets in the beginning has been suffering for a while. So Lord knows how long she's had this problem.
So it was let known in the movie that the curse lasts anywhere between 4 to 7 days.
Yeah, so depending on the person, how strong they are, they got a week to figure this shit out. If they're a weaker person, 4 days.
Yep.
So it's all about, you know, mental fortitude by that point. And for someone like her, she lasted 7 days. Like she lasted the full tilt. And that's when the thing puts her in a dissociative mode where she thinks she's okay to lull her in, like kind of like a bait and switch. And because it has to do that. That's the thing. That's the full extent of its power. If it has to wait the 7 days, kind of like Freddy, when you're finally just in the dream, that's your ass.
Yeah.
But like if you keep fighting him, he gets a little weaker and he starts having to pull some bigger punches. You know, that's kind of the whole scam of, you know, Nightmare on Elm Street was, if you keep re-entering the world with intent on hurting him, he's just going to make the problems bigger and bigger, whether he's a snake man or a giant television. But like that was the gimmick, and they kind of
educational television.
Welcome to prime time, bitch. And it's like, you know, that's what that is. But when you make it pull out all the stops and you see it in full regalia, that's when you got a fucking problem.
One of my favorite hallucinations, mainly because it caught me so off guard. In these kind of movies, it sucks sometimes being such a fan of this kind of stuff because you're always looking for the next thing. So you almost kind of spoil it for yourself at times. Yeah. Favorite hallucination scene was after the failed therapy session with her and her current boyfriend, that after like the second half, after like the first half of the movie, he's like, fucking peace, bitch, and we never see him again. But the therapist comes back the next day and she's like, look, I need to know that you're okay. I need to know that you're fine so I can sign off. Otherwise, I have to submit this report and you're going to get fired. So you need to prove to me that you're fine. She invites her in. They sit across from the couch and they're talking this, that, and the other. And she's like, you know, are you going to talk about anything? She's like, there's nothing to talk about. I'm fine. There's nothing going on. She's like, then why do you look like that? I'm tired. I didn't sleep well last night. It's like, well, that could be part of your psychosis. I mean, are you truly okay? It's like, I'm fine. She's like doing all this stuff to like try to convince her. And the therapist said something like, yeah, but you're not fine. Like something along those lines. She's like, what do you mean? And then the phone rings and she picks it up. And it's the therapist saying, I've been trying to reach you for days. Are you okay? And then she looks back up and the figure is smiling at her. Yeah. That was the, like, even talking about it now, it gave me goosebumps because you're not expecting to come face to face with the villain like that so early, because you're only just now starting to kind of understand what's happening. All of a sudden, we just got an exposition with the demon. it really caught me off guard. And it, not in a, oh, wow, so surprising, so innovative, but like, damn, cool.
But like,
what's next?
Compare that to the end. That's that first one's very subtle, ain't it? You know, it's very like, I'm going to turn your brain off for a minute so I can show you something. And then I'll click you back on. I can't control the outside disturbances, but I'm going to turn you off for about 2 seconds, and then that phone's going to ring. I'm going to lose control. But I got your ass. I got your name, and that's it. And then by the end of it, it's too late, honey.
Yep.
Like she's there, full regalia of what she's actually is, and it's
So let's get to that, because then
it plays on the foreshadowing of the mom.
Yeah. So what is it? She kind of decided, whereas like if she went back to her main trauma and like fought it, that she could like get rid of the demon, this, that, and the other. She shows up.
Same plot as I think it's like Nightmare on Elm Street 4.
Yeah. So confront the demon and that'll kill it. I get that it's a horror movie trope, but I do not understand the concept of you go back to your old house and it's exactly the way you fucking left it. Like, are all these people fucking just, when something bad happens, they just walk out the door, lock it, and just don't fucking do anything? Fuck the clothes, fuck all my personal belongings. It's just in the house. I'm not going to try and resell it. I'm not going to do anything with this. I'm just going to leave it sitting here on this property locked.
My favorite part about that, it still has electricity. And the light bulbs still work.
Again,
and the power still works.
It doesn't take away from the movie at all. It's a trope. Yeah. Every fucking movie has it. But at the same time, I'm sitting here going, stop. Give me an empty house. Quit giving me a house with shit in it. That's like that's not the way this goes.
Well, it's the same as like Evil Dead 2013 is. It's like, oh, we haven't been to this cabin since mom and dad, and mom died when we were children. And it's just like, hey, look, somebody broke in, and yet all the furniture's in a decent spot. There's some leaves on the floor.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, what is that? Oh, a ritual sacrifice in the basement. Yep.
Yep.
Goddamn
was
Utes.
here.
Goddamn Utes. The Utes were here. The Utes were out there with their cult and bullshit. Burnt a girl alive in my basement. I just now can smell it.
So she shows up, goes in the bedroom, of course, has the hallucination with her mother, slowly morphs into the demon. She's backing out. Super fucking cool scene where like the demon is growing in size and everything else, and finds a way to defeat it. And it seems like she like runs outside.
Yeah, so this
is the part I'm foggy on, because it was before she gets entered.
Yeah. So what? She's in a dissociative state, and with all intents and purposes, she can control the situation and fight the best she can. But remember, this is the end of the 7 days, so her time is up. If she wins, she wins. If she doesn't, she doesn't. But there is no failing the situation.
Yeah.
And her whole like victory, her faux victory over the demon at the end, is nothing but a lullaby for her. So the demon's like, gotcha.
Well, see, so I'm wanting to kind of give it because the way it actually went down was really well. And that's why I'm trying to give a little bit of a, not necessarily play-by-play, but just the structure of the way it happened. She had the confrontation, started walking backward out of the hallway. And I'm trying to remember what happened because, I remember what it was. She ran outside, set the house on fire. That's what it was. Ran outside, set the house on fire, was just like, oh my God, it's done. I finally did it. She leaves the property. I think she goes back to her apartment?
Yeah.
That's what it was. Yeah. She goes back to her apartment and then has another hallucination, and she's like, what the fuck? Runs out of her apartment, and as she's running out of her apartment, it transitions to she's back in the yard at the house.
Yeah, nothing's changed.
That was the moment where, I felt a little sleepy. I thought we were at the end, and as soon as that happened, it felt like a jolt of electricity. I was just like, fuck.
It reminds me of the end of Silent Hill, where she's carrying her daughter out of Silent Hill to bring her, and she gets in the car, and they go all the way home. They can't find the dad, and it's just like, oh no, you're still there. Silent Hill just expanded. You're in that foggy universe. Now it's just an illusion.
Yeah.
And now you're stuck there. And there's nothing you could do. Mm-hmm. And that's what I loved about that movie. You know, it's just like the play on the faux victory is fantastic. Mm-hmm. This movie, you know, coming out of nowhere like it did, reminded me of the movie Mama. With the little girls that were abandoned in a house. They were like feral children, and they find them.
I didn't see that one.
Fucking solid, bro.
But no, so she runs back out of the house. Now she's back in her old yard.
Yeah.
And she turns back around and sees the house is like still standing.
Yeah. It's all a trick.
This is the moment in all the horror movies that everyone fucks up. You ran out of the house. You realize that it is still, or that you were still under a trance. Don't run back into the house. You are out again. Keep running.
One shot would have fixed it. One scene would have fixed it. It's her running away and just ended up in the back, same place. Because you got to remember, sometimes the only way out is through. Yeah. And so, like, she has to be vigilant. Mm-hmm. So, like, you could probably argue that, all right, so that was a delusion. Can she use what she did in a delusion in real life? Could she, like, do that exact same motion the exact same way and get that same outcome now that she's in the real world? And no. Because she fucks up. Because she's such, you know, it's like luring in a fish. You know, you let them lead a little bit and then bring them in. Let them lead and keep bringing them in. The fish doesn't know it's getting closer to the shore until you do that final pull. So, like, that's what it's doing. It's fishing her in. It's baiting her with a victory and lulling her into a sense of security and, like, gotcha, bitch. Mm-hmm. And, like, you know, to quote Dave Chappelle, gotcha.
And, dude, and I'm not even, like, into the whole body horror gore thing. One of the most visceral scenes of that demon staring her right in the eye and then just rips her fucking jaw open.
Like the mandible just at full 180 degrees. It's just like a straight line.
Exposed face with tendons and bone and shit. Reaches over to her, stretches her mouth open, and all you see is her head entering her mouth before her ex-cop boyfriend busts in the door and just sees her smiling.
Yeah.
And you know it's over at that point.
Yeah, so it works kind of like a lepche, which is a Native American, like wendigo, where, like, if you see it, you're part of it now. And, you know, a wendigo kind of works the same way. It's, you know, death by...
Wendigo.
Yeah. It's death by circumstance. So, like...
Not death by snoo.
Nah, not like that. Those women don't exist anymore. But, like, it is an old way of telling a horror story a little bit. Like, this is the campfire story, you know, but in a modern telling. This could be, you know, 4 paragraphs long told by fire. You know, like, this is the same kind of story, but someone took that and made it into something, you know, an hour and a half long. Yeah. But was worth watching. You know, and that's what I love about these. You know, I love to be, you know, when Halloween comes around, the review of horror movies of 2023 is going to be fucking exciting.
Oh yeah.
But until then, you know, this is up the notch on probably the best horror movies of the 2020s so far.
Yeah, and that's the reason why I brought it up for the main topic on this one is we definitely are going to go through our, you know, the best horror movies of 2023. This movie came out last year.
Yeah.
It's 2022. So it deserved its own episode, damn it.
Yeah, but it came out on streaming by 2023, I think. Yeah. Because I watched it earlier this year. Mm-hmm. And it was when I watched, like, all the new ones. Because I watched this and Malignant. Fucking bad shit. I could do a whole episode on that.
I feel like I saw Malignant as well. I just don't remember.
It's just about a woman who's possessed, who knows karate, and kills an entire police force.
Actually, no, I don't think I saw that one.
Yeah, me and Hammer talked about it for like a good 15 minutes one time, and we're just like, you don't have to watch it. It's good, but it's bad shit stupid.
Well, is there any other really good moments from that movie we could mention? Because, you know, yeah, we've talked about a decent amount of spoilers, but at the same time, I feel like it's still one of those movies where it's like we could spoil everything. And when someone still watches it the first time, they're still going to be enjoyed.
I don't know. I think we covered it pretty well. There was the scene with the kid when he's lifting it out of the box that I thought this may be a hallucination, because if he starts smiling, okay, she's disassociating again. We're about to get a click track and her end up in a car.
And and I think that may have been another reason why that scene was so visceral, is you're waiting for the snap. Mm-hmm. And the snap never comes.
Yeah, that's another thing. If you watch it on that second go around, you'll notice the click noise, that click track noise. That's what separating her out. That's her coming out of it. Because you hear it kind of faintly when the music kind of rises, when her sister comes to her car and her fucking neck snaps open. Yeah, you'll hear that click, but it's kind of hard to hear over the noise. Mm-hmm. So it has its moments, and it's really good. I give it an 8 out of 10 when it comes to horror movies. It's an original story, hard to do. Mm-hmm. It could be a franchise. It could not. It could be a standalone, which would be just as fine. If we were to see a Smile 2,
keep smiling
or some shit, or what was fun about this movie was the advertising. They did this last year, I don't know if you know this, during the baseball season, where they had these creepy ass motherfuckers smiling and like behind home plate and shit. And I'm like, if I'm a pitcher and I see you fucking smiling ear to ear and not moving, I'm throwing a baseball at you. Like, you fucking weirdo.
See, I loved that marketing campaign. I thought
solid.
I thought that was great. It had the same energy as the Aqua Teen Hunger Force promos, where they put up those LED signs all across New York, and everyone's like, "What the fuck is this?"
Or it's like a skyscraper building lights.
Well, no, you don't remember this?
No, I remember it, but like they also did with skyscrapers. They'd have office buildings turn on their lights a certain way.
Yeah,
and it'd be like the alien creatures from Aqua Teen.
Yeah, no, this one I'm thinking of is it was like those 4x4 boxes with like it almost looked like light bright things put in. People were calling in saying that they were bombs and shit like that. Yeah. Like it wound up being like this huge ass thing.
Yeah, fucking the guys from Aqua Teen. It's just Adult Swim in general were just fucking solid when it came to marketing.
But no, so I think the marketing for Smile was fantastic with this as well.
There's another marketing campaign going on for a new sci-fi flick going on with like people dressed as androids, but half their skull in the back is gone. It's filled with like robotics and stuff, but it's all like CGI makeup and stuff like that. But they're walking around like New Yorkers, sit like in pairs to kind of like. It's a new form of advertising. It's a little bit more visceral, but if you're not used to that, you're not going to like that shit.
No.
You really need to prepare yourself for something like that, because I can't have a 4'2" girl dressed in a dress and a fake face, advertising Megan, which is another movie that'll be covered on a review, because that movie is fantastic.
That was really fun. And for my rating, I'd give it an 8.5, 9
What,
out
Smile?
of 10. Smile.
Yeah.
I honestly liked this a little bit more than the new Evil Dead.
Yeah.
The new Evil Dead was really good. I walked away from this one feeling more satisfied.
I gave Evil Dead Rise a higher rating because I'm just such a fucking fan of that stuff, and it's so good how they're expanding it. And I think people miss that part of it.
Oh, I mean, I think that part's great.
But like a lot of people who are just like into horror and talk about how much they love Sam Raimi's Evil Dead, even the 2023 one, are just like kind of missing the point. I think it kind of overshot itself with some of the not great CGI.
Yeah,
but
there were some choices made
that took a lot of people out of it, but it took them out of it to the point where they kind of just start forgetting shit. And that's the problem. It's just like when you let something take it out of you like that, you can run into some problems.
Yeah.
So,
but no, I thoroughly enjoy it. Definitely recommend for folks to watch it if you.
It's almost as good as like Puppet Masters.
But if you have any other horror movie suggestion for us, definitely leave a comment in the Discord or on Instagram or on Facebook or wherever the hell you do all that shit. But if you do have a Discord, or if you don't, just sign up for it. It's free. It's fun. Link is in this episode description, along with all the other great shows on the network, like History We Forgot, Cryptic Conspiracy Cult, This Fucking Guy, and
something good for you.
Thank you. I was literally sitting here, I was like, Fuck.
Don't forget to plug your own shit.
I don't fucking shit anymore, dude. And if you want to hear any of that cool Misfit shit, click the link in the bio for that one for the Fiend Media Club. Chris, as always, thank you so much for rolling on in and doing this shit with us. It's been a fun as fuck episode. And for this episode of The Couch Potatoes, I've been Alex. And Chris, do you have any sort of final thoughts for us?
I just saw the trailer for Killers Over Flower Moon. It's going to be the most serious fucking movie of 2023, and it's going to be the best goddamn movie of 2023 because it's Leonardo DiCaprio and Martin Scorsese.
You've been listening to the Something Good Network. If you liked what you heard, you can follow us on Instagram and check out the other great shows on the network. Link is in the episode description.